Wait, everyone, smile.
Hey, everybody. So it is Tuesday here in the States, but around the globe, it is Wednesday and Tuesday night all over. Yep. So, you guys, we have been joined by these amazing women who are part of an anthology, and they each have a story in there. And their anthology, I want to make sure I get the name of it right, is Living True to You, Inspirational Stories of Self-Doubt, Self-Discovery, and Embracing Your Destiny. And so their publisher is on, and some of these ladies have amazing stories in this. So we're going to dive deeper into, as soon as I make this where it's not private, we're going to dive deeper into their stories and really get to hear them talk about their stories and everything that kind of comes along with it in this collection of stories in this anthology. And so with all that being said, we're going to just dive right in. So we're going to hear from the publisher, Dana. So kick it away. How was this like for you? What was the journey like for you from a publishing standpoint, right? I always like to ask that question because everyone's publishing journey is so different for every book that they launch.
Oh, I know. This book, it was so much fun. I mean, the one thing that has been just so amazing is to meet just these, get to know these powerful women. I mean, all of them have just overcome just amazing obstacles, and they have just faced some really trying challenges. And they put these stories in this book, and they talk about really kind of their rock bottom to rock star story. And all of them are rock stars in their own right. They've all conquered just amazing things, and they're all just self-made, awesome business women now. And they're just doing so good. So it's really great to get to know their stories and get to meet them and go through this publishing journey with them. And of course, the fun part that I always love is launch day, where we get to really finally put their stories out for all the world to see so they can affect change and impact lives. And then also hopefully become #1 best-selling authors. So it's just been a really fun journey, and they're just amazing women.
See, so I love that. And I want to kind of dive in a little bit deeper as to, how did the idea come about to create this anthology and get your guys' stories out there? Whose idea was it where you guys were just like, all right, we're going to put all these stories together and it's time for me to tell this story. What was that process like, kind of reading through all of their stories and everything like that?
Yeah, I'll actually let Catherine is the one who is the compiler of the book. And I'll let her talk a little bit about, the idea and how this all came about, because it's really awesome.
Wonderful. Catherine, tell me all about it.
Here I am. Yes. That came about, how does that work? Being a mental health clinician for over 20 years. So obviously I've seen many, many women and helped them through. And I found that often they don't have a true voice. As a business owner, and as a mother, as a wife, we wear so many hats in our everyday life, but yet our voice have not been truly heard. And I'm sure you're going to hear from all of us today this is how raw has been for them to tell their story. And besides that, I believe that I would like to empower all women to be living true to them and truly living their passion, whether they're being a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, as well as successful business women. We are all here to live an authentic life.
See, I love that. And that's something that I can totally get behind, right? Because I am a woman, I own a business, but being true to who we are and embracing that, I think is one of the hardest things to do, right? You really have to go through things and just accept it to jump into it and embrace that. And so I love that. And, so Catherine, do you have a story in the book or did you just put it together?
I do have a story in the book. And it's so exciting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your story. One, what made you want to write that story or feel like it was time to share that story?
It's interesting being in a helping profession. You hear so many people's story, and in my old position, I can't really share my story. So in the last 2 years, I've transitioned into a business and life coach, and I realized that in this business, it allows me to truly be me.
Okay.
And I thought that is so important that as a coach, I set an example for others to join me and support them on their journey. So I was thinking, my life is so colorful. So which part would I like to share? But most of the impact is I'm so out there. All the women here knows that, like, you hear Catherine before she entered this room. But as in the story I shared that before I enter the room or as I enter the room, I scan the entire room to make sure that no one knows the sense of insecurity, the sense of rejection that I pick up. And I thought it would be so important. I met so many successful women and they are so good at what they're doing. But when we dig deep down, they feel the sense of not being good enough, not being worthy. And I thought, I need to let this out, let people know what I have struggled in the past, what kind of rejection that I've experienced. And it is okay. And we are all on a healing journey. And here I am.
See, I love that, right? Because so I have 2 little kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, right? They're 13 months apart. And so, insecurities and stuff, once you have children or even if you don't have children, they just surround you.
Yeah.
Right? And so I feel like this entire book is just so relatable because every single one of us have been through something like that, right? And having the power to kind of overcome that and talk yourself out of those insecurities in a sense. But hearing that you're not alone, I feel like is such a powerful thing because we feel so alone in those moments, right? So
that's so true.
That is amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your story in this book. But I would love to know, what was that pivotal moment like for you when you were like, you know what, this is the story that I want to incorporate in this book and it's time for me to tell this story. What made it where you're like, this is it?
This is it. Okay. Guess what? My husband is also an author. He writes sci-fi fiction.
Oh, lovely.
We've been together for 20 years. And almost since day one, he was the one who told me, one day you're going to write your own book. I thought, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Seriously. But I met all these amazing women and they all had their short story to tell. But I thought we need to have a platform. And what better idea is how Dana and I cross our path. And I thought, here you go. God just, gave us this opportunity. And all the women here willingly to trust me to go on to this journey to become the #1 best-selling author.
Right? I love that. That's so exciting. And that's just that's so refreshing to hear. And so it's, thank you so much for putting your story in there and for putting the book together and the idea, because I think that this is wonderful and it's what we need, and it really resonates with a lot of people. And so just thank you so much. And for letting me be a part of it, right? And do this launch and celebrate with you guys because this is such a milestone. It's so amazing. So thank you so much for putting your story in there and having the courage to put your story out there. So next up on my row, because we keep shifting, the next up on my row is going to be Linda. So Linda, hey, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. So tell us a little bit about your story that's in this anthology.
My story is about how the universe burnt my boats. And, it was really what happened last year. And it really talks about those moments when, when it seems like shit hits the fan and the universe is ripping, the floor underneath away from you. But then eventually, when you're looking back at those things years later, you see how that was actually the pivotal moment for you to make a decision or start on a journey you otherwise never would have started on. So yeah, my journey is pretty much about those, moment like that.
See, and I love that because I don't necessarily know if I'm at that like part in my life kind of thing, but I can resonate a lot with that. And so I would love to know, what made you pick that particular story and things to put into this anthology, what was that pivotal moment for you where you're like, you know what, this is the one that I want to include because this is what I feel like is going to, you know, a lot of people are going through?
Yeah, it was exactly that. I think it's something a lot of people are going through, you know, especially during COVID, like lots of people were faced with big challenges where they lost everything and had to start again or had to redefine themselves. And that was exactly for me, same moment, and for me and my husband, for both of us. So that's why I thought that would be a good story and good, you know, thing to put in, and really hopefully inspire other people that, you know what, it doesn't matter how shit things are, you can always turn them around and you can always find a solution. You just have to figure out who you truly are and what do you really want to do, you know, and then work towards it. And it's not all going to be easy, it's not all going to be pretty, you know, it's going to be hard, but it's going to be so worth it when you're looking back at that. So yeah, that's why I thought it's a really good story to include.
Yeah. See, I feel like all of you guys are my people. Okay. I feel like each story is going to be like, oh my gosh, I've lived that, you know, because I feel like we all have so much in common. So you guys, we're all just family now. We have to accept it. Group hug. Okay. Group hug. But I feel like that's very, yeah. See, I feel like that's very like pivotal in life, because I feel like, you know, I feel you have seasons in life, right? And when you go to change seasons, there's really honestly something kind of like, Linda, what you were saying, and you have to just be like, okay, well, we're not doing that anymore. We're gonna do this. We're going down this path, or we're gonna figure out this solution or something like that. And so I feel like, you know, you have those that come kind of in waves in a sense, I guess. And when it's time to shift gears or seasons change in your life, right? Like mine changed when I had my kids, you know, and now I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to take care of my kids who I always say are just, they're terrorists. They held me hostage this whole time. That's just what they are, because of the age that they are. They're just, I'm being held hostage. So, you know, from that, and then, you know, a business owner and figuring out the two, right? And that pivotal change in my life, right? I've lost all the freedom in my life. I don't get to go out and like, you know, drink. Not that I really did that, but you know, but I understand what you're saying, like life shifts, because we moved while I was pregnant, and you know, we were just on my income, and then I had to, you know, my husband had just finished school, and so he was trying to find a job, and we were moving cities, and then we bought a house. Then I had my daughter a month later, and I'm the crazy person that did all that in 3 months, right? And so you kind of just, you're faced with it and you have to do it, right? And I think us women are very good at doing that. Like we're very good at facing obstacles head on and, you know, just owning it. So I love that is your story and that you included it. So thank you so much for writing it and putting it out there, because I'm telling you, okay, so disclaimer on me before we get to you, Evie. I am not a writer. I have worked 14 years with authors. It's been a really fun ride. And I'm you're not going to get a book out of me. I know the time, dedication, and, you know, leap of faith that goes into that. And I don't have the courage that all of you guys have. Like, disclaimer, I don't, because the moment someone told me if they didn't like it or what, I would cry in a corner. So it just, no. But I love that you guys did it and you had the courage to do it, because we need people like you to write these kinds of books and these stories and really resonate and relate with people. So kudos to you guys for doing it. Power to you. I'm so jealous and excited for all of you guys and to hear all of your stories. So with all that being said, Evie, I would love to hear the story that you decided to include in this anthology.
Oh gosh, it was a pretty vulnerable share. I was coming from a space of never ever speaking out about my problems or issues or the challenges that I was having. And during my journey and personal development journey, I found that there's a lot of people in the same boat that don't want to talk about stuff because of shame, guilt, whatever their stories are. Catherine's come along into my life and opened up a lot in the personal development space, which I love anyway. So I was doing a lot of personal development. And that's another thing that I'm hoping that from the book that people actually value personal development and how important it is for you to grow. and understand that your past doesn't make who you are. And that, you know, you can overcome anything with a positive mindset, and it's hard to do at times, but yeah, it's worth it in the end, knowing that to truly know you and be your authentic self. Yeah, it's been a big journey, but it's something I've always wanted to do. It's funny, I was talking to my niece today saying, hey, the launch is on today. And she went, oh my God, she's so proud of me because I've been talking about for decades about a book that I'd probably write a book one day, but at least I've made a start. It's a chapter, so who knows, next book might be on its way.
Hey, you know what? I had someone the other day I was talking to that their entire book started as a short in an anthology. And so you never know what can happen with that. Yeah, like it's just one of those things, and you guys all have the writing and publishing bug. So I am going to make the fair assumption that all of you guys eventually I'm going to see a lot more books from you if you don't already have a lot of books out. That's how I feel. Eventually, at some point, I believe that that's going to happen. But I love how you said with a positive mindset and that you can overcome your past, right? Because I feel like that's something most people don't believe. They feel like their past dictates who they are, and then they just have to kind of settle, and they spend their entire life trying to overcome it, and it's never that whole thing. But I love that the mindset is, I'm a firm believer in mindset. I have positivity all the way. Puppies and rainbows are my thing, Yeah. And so
Amazing.
I love that is like your outlook on it, because I feel like that is really what helps in those situations, because like you said, it's peaks and valleys, right? You're always going to have highs and lows. And so that's so pivotal to have, and to be that vulnerable and to share that story, I just thank you and kudos to you, because it's one of those things I feel like all of us struggle with, right? And so having, the courage to talk about it, and let alone write about it, and you're going to let thousands, maybe million people read it, that's incredibly powerful to do, every single one of you guys. And so that's truly amazing to have the courage to do. So thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing that. So full support. I'm telling you, Puppies and Rainbows goes a long way. It really does.
Absolutely.
It keeps me in a happy spot. But is it Anna? I want to make sure I get your name right.
Well, it's actually pronounced Anna O'Brien, but everyone calls me Anna, and that's fine. I've had that name for over, 38 years.
Oh, okay. My sister's name is Anna, but I'm more than happy. I can call you Anna. That's why I knew there was a difference for sure. But tell us about your story.
Well, I'm here because I met this beautiful woman at a function, and I knew she was coming. So there's a story to it. I knew Catherine was coming into my life, and when I finally met her, I went, yep, I get you. And I've never been into the life coaches, and I told the story before, but there was something when she said to me, but I'm not just a life coach, I'm a spiritual. And I went, yeah, I'm in. Never questioned it, just started working with her. I've always been confident. I've always had the strength. I've never had, I don't have any insecurities. I can honestly say that. But where I came from, it's where it stemmed from are the three moments that I spoke about in the story. That was, I was the last person to do the chapter, which frustrated Dana and the team, but it was really hard to write. I can hold presentations, meetings with men, that's, career, and never show the vulnerability, the softness. And Catherine's brought that out in me. She said, why what makes you you? And I went, fuck, oh God, okay, where do I go? So, my success in life is because I've learned that forgiveness helps you live, helps you move on, helps you strive. You know, it happened. The action happened. You just turn around and go, yep. Karma's a bitch, and it's going to come after those people. But yeah, I'm a mother of two, a grandmother of two. I've been a wife twice, and that's a story in itself. I'm just really honoured that I've met these beautiful women who share their story with me, and I hope it resonates with a lot of women out there and helps them in some way. I chose not to be a victim. So, it is what it is. This is why I'm here. And I want to thank everyone for helping me get here.
I love that. Like, it's one of those, I'm not a speechless person. I always find something to say, but that was so beautifully said with so much and like empowerment behind it that I'm thank you for letting me get to know you, because it's amazing. And forgiveness is the ultimate power. I feel like to have the power to forgive is sometimes incredibly difficult, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
yeah,
if you don't, they take the power from you guys.
exactly.
We have the power. It's our power. It's our life. It's our choice. Exactly. And we should never let anybody tell you otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like live our life very similarly, because I learned that, just forgiveness for people really is not about them. It is for you.
Absolutely.
So
I'm selfish. So I'm actually selfish in that way. You know what you did. That's right. You know what you did. But you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm not, this is not my shit to own. So I forgive you, move on. That's it. Done.
Yeah. I love that.
That's me.
I mean, you honestly, you have the power to forgive, so you can move on and you can do what you want to do, and you're not going to dwell in that space or that energy anymore. And so that I think is just amazing. I feel like if me and you were in the same city, we would be best friends, because I'm very much like that. And so as you just speak with such like empowerment, and I applaud you like all of these ladies on here did. They all applauded you, and it is a beautiful thing to have, and it's the hardest thing to do. And so I commend you for doing it and for writing about it, because that's something that is difficult. And Catherine, look at you. You're just changing people's lives, lady. I love it. I love it. So amazing. So amazing. I feel like I'm with a family here. So I'm honored to be with you guys this evening. Well, evening for me. I think it's morning for most of you guys, but it's evening for me-ish. It's evening-ish. So, but that's amazing. So where are you at, Anna? Where are you?
I'm in, you mean where residing in Australia, Victoria, Melbourne.
Okay, so raise your hand if you are in Australia currently at this moment. Okay. Nice. Okay. All right. So it's morning for y'all, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct in that? Okay. I had my time
Absolutely.
I have my time converter on. So I'm like, I think it's morning for you guys. Okay. Well, good morning, all of you peppy people in the morning. I love it. But thank you so much for sharing that and holding in your truth. So thank you so much. So Kate, it's your moment to shine. Oh, I can't hear you. No.
She's even unmuted too.
Yeah,
but I wonder,
is your mic plugged in, or is your sound trying to come from your mic? If it's an external mic. We'll come back to you.
Hate it when
We'll
that
come back to you. Yes. So
You.
Carmen, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Your picture's frozen on my end, but I can hear you, so we are good. So tell us about your story in this anthology.
Yeah, firstly, I'm incredibly grateful to be part of this project. I know Kate quite well, and I got to meet a couple of you, and I've personally gone through such a challenging time in my life right now. So this book has been a very challenging point where I've wanted to run away. That's my pattern of it identified within myself. And I'm incredibly glad because everybody in this book is so inspiring, and the story I'm sharing is such a vulnerable one for myself that I could identify straight away that I was trying to run away from showing up and showing everyone that side of me and trying to keep living who I am. And I came from a very abusive father, and it's the first time I speak publicly about my child abuse and just the patterns and the subconscious programming that can result from such a childhood as well. And it's ironic because I talk about the subconscious programming in my chapter, and then I started to play into that pattern and that programming while this chapter was coming out. So to identify it was really amazing, and that's the key, and that's what I believe and I've learned throughout my life is that no one's perfect. No one's childhood is perfect. There are challenges everywhere in everyone's life. And the key is to identify that the patterns that we play out and to identify what serves us and what doesn't serve us. And that's a huge part of who I am and the journey I try and share with people. I personally have dedicated my life to martial arts and in a way to empower, it's not just women. I initially started for women, but I have a lot of men that I train as well, and just to empower people to respect their body and their boundaries. And, so people like myself haven't had those boundaries and that self-respect taught to me from when I was young. I had to learn that as a growing teen into an adult through a lot of learnings and, speaking to people and stuff like that. So I guess that's what I'm sharing within my chapter as well, is one tool that I have learned to live with. And I guess also to share that we are all human and we are going to go through patterns and we're going to have things happen in our life. And, we just have to just keep showing up and developing ourselves. And that's what this whole book's all about. Everyone's sharing those sort of things and how to, I guess, to be the best version of yourself, the most authentic version. And it doesn't have to be perfect.
So I have 2 daughters, and that hits home really hard for me, but I love how you've overcome that and you're helping others, to respect their body and their boundaries and things like that. Cause I have 2 little daughters. And so just thank you for sharing your story. Because that hits home really hard for me just because my kids are so little. And so that just, thank you.
It's a very, I've gone into a very touching field with my line of work, because I have so many beautiful mums and dads who wouldn't want their child to go through what so many children go through. Right. And I do speak to a lot of teenage girls who go through stuff, and it happens so often. And while none of us can save the world, we can't stop that. Right. I do believe that people like all of us, and it doesn't matter whether you come from child abuse or not, but these tools we share and all that, they can help everyone and anyone in some way. It's just, it's a really not controversial. What's the word? It's a very
sensitive topic. Yeah,
sensitive topic. It is, but it's also one that a lot of people feel like they can't open up about. And that was me until this chapter. So this chapter was the first time I can voice it. And since then, I've already had people reaching out to me, and which is really overwhelming, because I didn't because it's not just something that I still feel it deeply. I'm still going through my own things as well. And when people see that you can have a life, like I've been through some massive mental health challenges. I've gone through some really big lows as a result to my childhood, and I am where I am today. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. That's no one can claim that.
Right.
And you just can't do that. I think that's a facade, because I always try to be fully healed, and I always try to be completely over it and not a victim to everything. It's just a continual journey, and I believe we're all just going to go through that and just learn our coping mechanisms, learn how to just keep going, really, and empower others along the way if we can.
Yeah. No. Well, I always tell my husband that I'm perfect, but that's just because I want him to know that I am perfect for him. So I always tell him that. So in his eyes, I'm perfect. Okay. That's the story. We're all going to stick with that. Okay. If something happens, but I feel like, you wrote about something that is a hot topic, and it is very sensitive, and it resonates a lot with parents and some that have fears of that and overcoming that. But your story of overcoming it and what you've turned that and your process of dealing with it and things, I feel like is empowering to others that have gone through that or going through that. And so I commend you for writing that story. And, I'm so sorry for everything that you went through as a mom, but the writing it and getting it out, I feel like it's going to help so many people. And I think all of you guys are going to be a part of that. And so I think there's power in words. I've always believed that in the written word and words. And so just thank you for writing it and making a difference, because it needs to be said and your story needs to be out there to help someone else. And so just thank you for having the courage to do that and, overcoming what you went through. I think it's a big hurdle. So to me, all of you guys are perfect. Okay. All of you have no flaws. You have no flaws to me. Okay. I'm just throwing it out there. But Kate, let's see. Kate, is your sound working? Are we back in action?
Please, is it working?
Yes!
Is it working?
Look at that. Nailed it.
It's very unusual, because anyone that knows me knows that I'm always got something to say.
That's how I am.
So for me not to be able to be heard, that's pretty scary. Yeah. It was scarier for me than I think for you, but yeah, I was panicking.
I'm glad that we have it all figured out and it's all fixed. So tell us about your story and this beautiful anthology.
Sure. My story really is about, I guess, being, I believe a courageous girl that's become a courageous woman. And it's about a very colourful childhood. That's how I like to put my childhood. And when I talk to people about it, which is not very often either, right. So that's why this was very confronting to me. They're quite surprised that what I do and how I behave and my importance of life and what we do in our lives, it's come from a girl that's perhaps been through what I've been through. So it talks a little bit about my loveless parent experience, or parents. I actually have 3, but not really any. And my involvement in a cult environment and living with nuns, and then, living on the streets of Melbourne, and then living in foster homes, and sort of, bumping my way through life as best that I could, but that I always knew that I was courageous and I would continue to be courageous. So nothing ever defined me at any point. I still carry the pain, but I still knew that I was going to make something of myself and have an impact on as many women as I possibly could. So one of my tattoos, I have a few, I won't show you because there may be children that watch this, but one of my tattoos is more Xena than princess. And I kind of fall in line with, that's why I work with women in finding courage, is that I truly believe that as women, we all have a warrior. And when you want to live and let that warrior out and let it thrive, you've got to find courage. But we're also, beautiful creatures, and we're here for a reason, and we all have that princess inside of us. So, if we can balance that life, regardless of what's coming at us and regardless of all the things that everybody needs from us, if we've got a really clear picture of when the warrior needs to come out and when the princess needs to come out. We can fulfill anything in our lives and be anything we want to be.
I love that. I feel like I'm in warrior mode all the time, you know, but I love that. I love that. And oh my gosh, you guys, I just want to hug all of you guys. Oh my goodness. We love you all. I just want to hug you all. But oh man, all of your stories hit so home, you guys. Oh my gosh. But man, overcoming all of that and being the person that you are, because my personality is very similar to yours. And I love it and I commend you for it. And so see, this is yet again, I don't have the courage that you guys have. Like oh my goodness.
Well, that's why I probably did this in particular, because I believe, I truly do, I'm very courageous in everything that I do. Nothing will ever stop me. And anyone that knows me, they know that about me. And I'll do everything that I possibly can to inspire that in every woman that I meet, because they all deserve it. But one thing that I'd never done is had the courage to actually speak my truth about where I came from and why I am the woman that I am today, and why I call myself the Courageous Inspirer. So I felt I owed that to myself, and I owed that to everybody else. And then I believe my impact can be greater, because, you know, you can look at someone like me in particular and go, oh God, she's got it all together and she does whatever she wants to do, and anything she wants, she gets it. And how does she do it? But I've worked really, 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 really hard to be able to do that. And I continue to do that on a daily basis. And I came from a very traumatic childhood, but I chose, even as a child, that was not going to define me.
Right.
And the one thing that I always held on to at any moment in my childhood and now is I always go to that place, courage. I just go to that place and I say it to myself over and over again, have the courage, be courageous. And that just keeps me moving forward.
I love it. It's like me when I go talk in the mirror and just tell myself, I am amazing. I am amazing. And then I go out and, you know, I have to choose somebody else, but I'm amazing why I do that. Okay. Like that's how I've defined myself. Okay. I'm an amazing person that's having to chew you out temporarily. We'll be friends. I promise. But I love just each one of your guys' story is how you guys have overcome something and you've turned it into something great because you've overcome that. And every single one of your guys' stories so far that I've heard, you've all had the determination, and those things aren't going to define you. You're going to make that into something good to help others. And I think that's important. I think that's what all of us need. I think that's what women need, especially, right? And so for all of you guys to have that encouragement and the courage to put these stories out, and for Catherine and Dana to help you guys get this story out, I think is just destiny. It was meant to be, right? So if none of you guys write another book, I'm going to hold on to this book and be like, one day, every single one of these people is going to have a book, a short book or something, okay? A motivational book, motivational quotes, okay? We could do that, okay? I'm just saying, I'm putting ideas out there because I feel like some of y'all are like, no, I'm never going to write a book, and I'm determined that I'm going to get a book out of each one of y'all for sure. But I love your title, The Courageous Inspirer, and I think that very much defines who you are. And so thanks for having the courage to put your story out and include it in here. I think it's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to ask how I say your name because I want to make sure I say it right. Is it Lynn? You're muted. I know, it's your time. I got it right? Oh, yes. Okay. I've been practicing it in my head. I've been practicing.
Oh, is right. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. All right. Wonderful.
Yes, we're here. This is so good. Tech is not my thing. Every one of you is as big as my little fingernail at the moment, and I can't even see myself, so I'm just going to speak to this. Am I to speak now?
Yeah, go for it. Tell us about your story in this anthology.
Yeah, so before I tell you my story, I really want to thank all of you for the opportunity to do this, and especially what we're beginning with Catherine for inviting me to be part of this. And it's just been an amazing journey, more than I could imagine. And then Dania for putting up with me with all the changes. I don't know how many copies I made, and every single up to the time where Daniel was copying and sending it away, I think I knew I was there still editing. So thank you so much.
Down to the wire.
Thank you for the patience. But I think what I really got from all of you doing this as a group is that courage. Like, we've been all talking about just the courage to to put a story out there and to be vulnerable. It was a very difficult journey for me. And so my story is, the whisper of a good mother. And that's been what I've been struggling with ever since I became a mother. I thought I had it all at the beginning before I had kids. I was very, it was very easy for me to say to people, I could die any day. I lived my life very happy, very just really happy with where I was. And then kids came along, and I don't know, it just turned everything upside down, and revealed to me the person that I was yet to have the courage to look at. So the reason why I wrote, I participated, was to raise awareness on that. With, I think, when we're parenting, and I might become very emotional here, so please bear with me. Is that, sometimes we have that little voice behind, in our head where we wonder if this is the right thing to do or to say or to raise our kids or whatever it is, whether we agree with how it is we are feeling. But the journey of life, the external world and the responsibilities, sometimes just we do get carried away with that. And I certainly did. And I lost my way for so long, and until we got to where we thought would bring us happiness, which is the success for the kids, the scholarship, the big house, the beautiful car, all of those, where I realized that, oh my goodness, I've never been as empty as that, with the emptiness. And I know you ladies would know what I mean. And this is why I say it's such a wonderful journey, although I don't speak to everyone much, but I feel it when I read your stories, is that emptiness. And so I really want to raise that awareness, in that if there is that message, that voice, that's something that's underneath, or deep inside, like, don't ignore it, don't turn away from it, listen to it, because the road that it would lead you to is something so powerful for your life. And so I have listened to that, and I've turned around, and my children are thanking me for it, and I'm allowing my children to live their life and to reach into their own power, to live their own life, and therefore releasing me from the role and reach into my power and doing what I do now. And I cannot believe the journey that it's taken me to, judging books now, talking to over 40 authors, watching them and talking to, opening my world to whatever it is that's going to lead me into, that's coming in the future as well. And that all starts with listening to that voice. So that's what I'm hoping to do, and I'm so grateful for Catherine for reaching out to me and say, hey, Lynn, I think you've got a message. Why don't you tell it? Would you like to tell it with us? So thank you.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I can relate 100%. When your life gets turned upside down when you have kids, and then a part of it, I feel like, is you kind of lose yourself or your identity when you have kids, because it's all them. And you put things aside and stuff like that. But, I am also a firm believer of listening, to that little voice inside, because it has yet to steer me wrong. And I don't know, maybe in the future it will. But I'm a firm believer in listening to it. And it, great things or avoidance and things has come from that. And so, but I resonate 100% and the parent and listening to yourself and everything like that, because I think it's important, and it's important for our kids to see, and for them to trust in themselves and their, intuition or the voice that they have, and not limit themselves. And so I think an amazing story and should very much be included because us moms are going through that. Okay, we are. I mean, if anybody knows of Nanny McPhee, can you please send her to my door because I need her in my life. Okay, so if anyone is friends with her, send her to my door. Okay, but no, I think that's a very powerful story. It definitely needed to be included, and I'm right there with you 100%. Man, all of you guys, I'm gonna hug you guys. You get me in my feels, man. It's a good book, and the stories in there are great when you guys can just sit here and tell me about it, right? And you're not even going into detail about your book, which I'm sure they are detailed, and you guys can bring me to tears. And I am not a sensitive, emotional person. I'm sure you've gathered that from my personality. I am not by any means, and you guys are courageous people for sure, and putting your story out there. And so I know we have one more story to hear, which is Miss Lisa. And so I would love to hear about your story in this anthology.
Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. It's been a big process for me as well, just sharing my story. I think it all started for me about 10 years ago when I went through a very messy divorce, and my life has just changed unbelievably. So I actually started getting into health and fitness, and more for my mental health because I was suffering with severe anxiety when I was going through that separation. And I got back into my training and health and fitness. And that's when I decided that I wanted to be a health and fitness coach. And everyone was against the idea because I was old, I was 38 and old. So
no, they didn't. You are not old.
No, I agree. But this was the story that people were essentially saying to me. But I'm very stubborn as well. And once I make a decision, I will go ahead with it and I'll do it. So the reason why I wanted to do it was because I actually really wanted to help people, because I think health and fitness is number one. And it's so good for, obviously not just for our bodies, but mainly the main reason is for our mind. And I wanted to help people to become the best version of themselves. And it's just opened up other opportunities. I then started getting into the coaching world. I started to be coached. And now I'm actually a business coach. I've met Kate online. I've met all these other lovely ladies online. Kate and I are actually going to starting up a partnership soon next year where we'll be launching something very exciting. So we'll be going into business together. So basically my story is more about just opening up your mind and just there is just so many opportunities out there, and to just have the courage to give things a go. If you've got something in your mind that you really want to try, doesn't matter what anyone else says to you. If you truly believe it in your heart, then I feel like you need to go for it, because we only get one life, and you don't want to live in that life of regret. And essentially that's what my story has been about.
I love that because it hits home for me right now. I kid you not. I needed you to say that because my husband wants to do this, 22-mile in and out hike in Hawaii. Okay. We're talking about the one that you hug the cliff. Okay. Around the coastline, that one. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. He's wanted to do that one. It's 22 miles in and out. Right. And I'm all about hey, whatever gets me to Hawaii, I'll do. Okay. Cause I want to go 100%. No questions. I just want to go. Right. And so I don't enjoy hiking, backpacking, not my thing. Backpacking and in and out, not my thing. Okay. I'm willing to do it though. One, to say that I did it. Okay. And two, because it gets me to Hawaii. Okay. So, and I am just like you. I am very stubborn. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it just to prove you wrong. That's my motivation. You know what I'm saying? So 100%. I'm all yeah, I'm going to do this. We're going to knock it out. We're going to hike that 11 miles in a day, and we'll come out in a day or two. We're going to do it. Right. But I have to get in shape for that. So the gym is not my friend. It's very people-y. I like people online. In person, it's too people-y for me. So I went Okay, so it hits home for me because I went yesterday and I dealt with the people that were there and I did my whole thing, but it was mentally refreshing for me because I'm working all the time, right? And in PR and marketing, I'm always on. I'm always getting emails. I have people all over in different time zones and things like that. So I'm always on. So to have like that break for like my mental reset to get through the rest of the day was much needed. And plus I'm determined that I'm going to be much, stronger. I'm going to beat my husband at this thing, right? That's the motivation is I'm like, I'm going to be the leader of the pack. You're the one that's going to struggle because you really wanted to do it. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. That's my motivation. But I think I like what you said. Life is too short. And so if you want to do something, don't put it off till tomorrow, because when is tomorrow, actually going to happen for you? If it's tomorrow, like 3 years from now, that tomorrow, or what are you talking about? Right. So you got to just do it, commit and do it. And it's like, well, whatever way it goes, I'm going to do it. And I think it's been refreshing in my life for that. And so I love that. And I'm sorry about, your messy divorce, but hey, it led you here. So it was great.
I'm not sorry. It's fine. I'm actually grateful for it.
Right, there you go. Even better. Well, you guys, hearing all of your stories, and it truly is you guys putting your heart and vulnerability in this book and in these stories. And so I can't find a better time to tell you guys something. So Dana, so I took a screenshot. Okay, you guys, of your guys' book this morning. Okay, and where you were and everything like that. And so I'm going to show you guys.
You're going to let the cat out of the bag, huh?
I feel like it's fair. I think we should know. I think we should also
cat out of the bag.
I am. I'm going to let it out of the bag. Okay. That's how we're going to do this. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Get everyone on mute first. Yeah,
everyone off mute. Well, I think we're going to have a grand scream.
I love it. Yes, screams are welcome. Screams are welcome, you guys. So look at that right there, you guys. You have hit the #1 bestseller in New Age.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh. You guys are so much fun. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. But I cannot think of a better group of ladies that this should go to. I will send this screenshot out to every single one of you so you guys can blast that near and far. But you guys.
Actually, I got just one little thing. Take it even further. I have a screenshot that I took that you guys hit #1 in all 3 categories.
Hey.
Wow. Oh.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations.
Fantastic.
Authors, but #1 best-selling authors.
So we're now just got to get international bestseller. Is that what we're
Yeah.
doing? Right. Okay. Eye on the prize, ladies. Eye on the prize.
That's our goal. But you guys are amazing in all realms, and for writing your stories and getting them out there. One, having the courage to write it, because I'm telling you, I would be crying at the keyboards writing some of these stories. Okay, like I'm truly humbled, and I am so grateful to be in the presence of such strong women and courageous women, and to help get your stories out there, because I think they're important and they resonate with so many people. And I think all of you guys can make a difference. I firmly believe that words and written words have power. And so just thank you guys for letting me be a part, and to celebrate you guys and to show you guys your #1 bestseller that me and Dana have been sitting here going back and forth like, oh my gosh, are we going to tell them? I kept this a secret for so long, but you guys deserve this and so much more. And I just, thank you guys for being who you are and for writing about it, because it's important. And to me, all of you guys are perfect, like perfect and flawless, 100%. That's my story. I'm going to stick to it. Okay. I don't want to know if you have flaws or nothing. Y'all are perfect. Okay. We're going to stick that's how we're going to do it. We're going to stick with it. But I wish you guys the ultimate success with your book, and that it helps empower and transform people's lives, because it's important and it matters. And so Catherine and Dana, thank you guys so much for letting me be a part of it, to be on this journey with you guys and to have so much fun. I will send all of you guys the recording for this. If you want it, you can do whatever you want. I will send you my screenshot. I know that Dana will, but you guys, it's so refreshing, because it's like daylight where all of you are, and we're over here like, it's nighttime, and I'm just like, oh, I want to be where y'all are. I want to be over there.
You know where I am at the moment, Amy?
Where?
I'm at Vegas, so come and party with me.
She's in Vegas.
Okay, hey, you threw out the invite. I'll be there. Okay, we're gonna go do the zip line on Fremont Street. That's my jam. I can do that.
That's the best part. Fremont Street is amazing.
It is. It's my favorite. It's the favorite. I absolutely love it. But you guys, thank you for taking time out of your evening, morning, nighttime to come and party with me and let me celebrate you guys, because it's been so much fun. And I wish you guys all success. I hope to see books from each one of you. Stay in touch with me. Add me on Facebook, all of this, so I can, boost your stories out even more. But you guys, this has been so amazing. So you guys, you can go and download their ebook or get their physical copy of the book. I will put the link down here in the comment section in just a moment for y'all to get it. But go and read these incredible, impacting stories from these ladies, because I'm telling you right now, they will change your life. But until next time, you guys, have a good day.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.